Throughout my channel's existence, I've intentionally reviewed every single classic Batman movie leading to this review of Batman 89. Batman Returns, still near and dear to my heart, plus it's still one of my favorite Christmas movies ever made. Batman and Robin, I still stand by what I say, it's an underrated and underappreciated Batman movie. Batman Forever, it is still one of my favorite Batman movies and I stand by the title of my video. And then there's Batman 89, one of the most classic superhero movies of all time, along with arguably the most iconic iteration of Batman ever done on the big screen.
I'm Batman.
After watching Batman 89 again, I get to say something I absolutely did not expect for me to say in this video. Batman 89 is the perfect Batman movie. Trust me, I know what you're thinking. How can I possibly have this opinion when The Dark Knight exists? Well, firstly,
it's not about money, it's about sending a message.
Secondly, you'll be able to learn more about why I don't think The Dark Knight is a perfect Batman movie in the near immediate future as I review the Nolan trilogy leading up to Matt Reeves' The Batman. With that being said, let's set up the bat signal one last time to discuss and review the final classic Batman movie, Batman 89. As someone who's only watched Batman 89 twice, it's almost absurd how much you can take away from this movie. In the best ways possible, Batman 89 is the absolute essence of Batman. The simple yet well done introduction of Bruce Wayne's tragic origin story is arguably depicted in the best way possible in comparison to the plethora of other Batman films or Batman related shows such as Gotham, which you should watch. The chaotic and dangerous yet beautifully crafted Gotham City is exactly what I picture in my mind when I think or talk about Batman running around Gotham City. Batman 89 even handles Joker's origin scene way better than the original Suicide Squad movie. Yes, I know that's not saying much, but I am willing to roast that movie any chance I get because of how bad it is. Along with these things, this movie also has an outstanding Joker that I like more now than I did when I previously ranked all of the live-action Joker iterations. If you're curious, I will eventually rank all of the live-action Batman iterations as well. The point is, I've watched and reviewed a ton of Batman movies on this channel, and yet Batman 89 is still the standout movie. It does so many things right that other Batman movies fail to do, and it unintentionally sets a standard that most Batman films have yet to reach. And because of this, it's levels above the other classic Batman movies, Batman Returns, Batman and Robin, and Batman Forever. Batman 89 stands out as the premier Batman movie because, in the best ways possible, it showcases the answers to a lot of questions one may have when it comes to talking about Batman. To give a few examples of these questions, is Gotham City necessary for Batman to exist? What makes a good Gotham City? What do you expect out of a live-action Bruce Wayne? What makes a good Joker story in a Batman movie? Visually, Batman 89 tells the story of Gotham without having to say a single word. The movie opens up by showing a chaotic and gritty city with no sense of peace at all amongst its people. The Wayne family stands out like a sore thumb and doesn't belong in Gotham City. These initial feelings get justified nearly instantly as we watch the inevitable death of both Thomas and Martha Wayne. Even when this movie time skips to a modern day Gotham City, there's still an emphasis on its chaos. People are still up to no good, and we're even greeted with thugs who talk about Batman like he's a mythological creature. In a way, it builds the world up even though it only takes place in one specific city. It helps you buy into this terrible environment that needs a hero to maintain its chaos. Narratively, Batman 89 interestingly explores Batman. Bruce isn't as complex as he is in Batman Forever, or as comedic as he is in Batman and Robin. We learn about Bruce through various ways, whether it's hearing Vicky Vale and Alexander Knox mock Bruce for his choice of furniture, or simple mannerisms from Michael Keaton throughout the movie. When I originally watched Batman '89 for my ranking every live-action Joker video, I didn't necessarily love Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne. However, that's changed since my most recent rewatch of Batman '89. Michael Keaton, in the best ways possible, balances showcasing Bruce Wayne's growth that he needs to be a better hero and separating his Bruce Wayne personality to give Batman the spotlight he deserves. In essence, we're introduced to a very interesting protagonist. Bruce is more than just a man with a ton of misery who voluntarily chooses to suit up in a chaotic, dark, and gritty city. There are actual levels of depth to Bruce Wayne and his alter ego. As Bruce grows throughout the movie, Batman grows as well. There are moments when he's stoic. There are moments when his emotions get the best of him. There are moments where he's subtly showcasing his detective skills, such as when he recognizes the Joker for some odd reason as he causes chaos in the City Hall. And all of these moments feel necessary. We go from watching Bruce falling in love with Vicky Vale and being angry at the Joker due to what Joker has been doing to Gotham City along with trying to steal Vicky from him, to watching Bruce maintain those emotions as he saves Vicky in Gotham City once and for all. We go from being told that Batman is some sort of myth among the thugs and criminals in Gotham to understanding that Batman is a complex man who chooses to be a hero due to the trauma and tragedy in his life. The point is that this duality between Bruce and his alter ego, which even he struggles to express when he wants to reveal it to Vicky, exists and goes through the motions of the movie together as one. In Batman and Robin, Batman is the premier character, not Bruce. Batman is almost consistently on screen and he's always making jokes like the obvious credit card product placement. In Batman Forever, Bruce is the premier character because it's a movie that focuses on the psyche of Bruce and discusses his trauma in great detail. While yes, Batman still gets a spotlight and is fairly prevalent throughout Batman Forever, the movie is about Bruce. It's about his growth as he begins to understand his trauma, which allows him to become a better hero and mentor to Robin. In the case of Batman '89, both Batman and Bruce Wayne share the spotlight because the movie is about Bruce coming to terms with being both. It's about his growth as a person handling a secondary yet vital identity that keeps him sane as he becomes the hero that Gotham needs but doesn't deserve. While that is a big part of Batman '89, there's still the other half of the movie that is just as great. That part is Jack Nicholson's iconic iteration of the Joker and his origin story. In both the most chaotic and entertaining way possible, Jack Nicholson's Joker adds so much to Batman '89. There are genuinely dark moments, chaotic moments, entertaining moments, intense moments, and moments where Joker feels invincible. One of my favorite things about this Joker iteration is that he simply doesn't care at all. He is all about doing whatever it takes to create complete and utter madness just because it entertains him. He doesn't care about the Gotham PD, he doesn't care about the lives of other people, and he barely cares about Batman. There are only two things he cares about: chaos and Vicky Vale. Despite those being some of my favorite things about this Joker, they aren't even the most rewarding aspects of watching this Joker. The most rewarding aspects of watching Jack Nicholson's Joker are both the build-up, and I mean this literally and figuratively, the downfall of Jack Napier. Just from the first shot we got of Jack Napier, it tells us everything we need to know. He's in a faintly lit room, he's well dressed, which tells you that he has some sort of power in Gotham. He's brooding as he watches Harvey Dent deliver a speech on his TV, and he even scoffs at Harvey wanting to make Gotham a better place.
Decent people shouldn't live here. They'd be happier someplace else.
It gives you the impression that he is up to no good at all, and this is all within the first few minutes of Batman 89. When Jack falls into the pool of acid and becomes the Joker, it's like an immediate switch is flipped. It's like all of the chaos and darkness within Jack has suddenly activated, and it allows him to be the perfect counterpart to our growing protagonist, Bruce Wayne. You have one man who's trying to defend the city due to the trauma and tragedy in his life, while also trying to figure out his emotions for this reporter. And then you have the counterpart antagonist who brings out the absolute best in him for all of the wrong reasons. Jack Napier starts off as this clearly crooked or twisted person in power with a whole lot of money into an absolute menace to society. He becomes unhinged, chaotic, seemingly random, yet somehow maniacal at the same time, and he crosses the line every single time you think he wouldn't. First, he goes to kill someone off. Then he goes to a forced business meeting and he shakes someone's hand only to melt them alive. And then, at some point, he breaks through a museum as he blasts music and vandalizes the museum. He knows no boundaries. Joker even does a massive dance party in Gotham City as a distraction so he could kill everyone to take over Gotham. Throughout that entire time, Bruce Wayne is trying to figure out how to take down the Joker. Bruce becomes fixated on taking Joker down. It basically gets personal for him due to Joker trying to steal Vicky, and this sense of it being personal becomes justifiable when the movie throws its big plot twist at you towards the end of Batman 89. This movie created the cat and mouse game that we've all grown to become incredibly comfortable with and come to expect when we think of Batman fighting the Joker. This movie laid the groundwork for the eventual beloved Batman film, The Dark Knight. Although I didn't originally love the ending of Batman 89, I've actually grown to come around to it. The whole idea and plot twist that Joker is the same man that killed Bruce's parents is actually kind of brilliant in a way. That plot twist makes the entire story of Batman 89 almost feel like fate. Jack Napier killed the Waynes, which led to Bruce choosing to become Batman, which led to Jack falling into a pit of acid, which then led to the game of Batman vs. Joker. In the final moment, when Batman is about to kill Joker himself, there's one last bit of fate that prevents Batman from going down a dark path. Joker dies by the hand of fate. Whether it's intentional or not, it's almost poetic. The only person that managed to take down the Joker was the Joker himself. His own shenanigans led to his demise, and it felt like the world stopped Bruce from letting his emotions get the best of him. Yes, it's pure comic book shit, but that doesn't matter because this type of story could only strive in this genre. Although Joker was Bruce's nemesis and Batman was Joker's nemesis, it wouldn't have made sense for Bruce to kill Joker. That wouldn't have made him a better hero. It wouldn't have made him any better than Joker. And it would have shown that Bruce didn't learn how to focus when he had to be the hero he chose to become. Plus, I'd argue that it wouldn't have been as impactful as Joker dying at his own hand because Joker had no limit. Joker was straight chaos and such a legitimate menace to Gotham that eventually it had to get the better of him, and it finally did. All of those awful decisions finally got the better of him. It allowed Gotham to be saved. It allowed Bruce to have the satisfaction of knowing that he wouldn't have to worry about Joker anymore, and that his parents' death was avenged. In a way, Batman 89 is the only movie out of the classic Batman movies that really understood what it meant to make a Batman movie. It was the only movie that really felt like it tried to do the right thing, whether it was establishing a fantastically designed Gotham, giving us an interesting protagonist, and a chaotic yet lovable antagonist, or understanding what Batman means to Batman fans. It strived in every single way possible. It either intentionally or unintentionally set a standard that the sequels couldn't achieve. Could certain things have been better, such as the action, or small bits being removed like Vicky Vale fainting because of seeing dead roses? Sure, but the movie came out in 1989. We have to cut it some slack. The beautiful part is that in my eyes, it made up for some of the slightly weird decisions because of every single Batwing scene in Batman 89. I know I never really mentioned that at all, but those Batwing scenes were so good and made me forget the weird scenes that didn't fully land with me. Yes, the Batwing scenes are still that good, and I stand by that opinion. The point is that Batman 89 achieved greatness, and I now understand why it's so iconic. I understand how much of an impact it's made on the entire future of Batman, whether it's in comics, shows, or future movies. Batman 89 was the milestone that I will always be thankful for. It is, in my eyes, the only perfect Batman movie to date. As always, if you enjoy this video, hit that like button. If you really enjoyed the video, hit that sub button. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, write a comment down below. Don't forget to keep it real with peace, love, and positivity.